This is Trust and Believe the Gospel, where I'm always trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody, and that is Jesus the Christ. I go by the name of Nobody, and I'm about to cast our brother Piankhi, Ptah, Mutulu, Nefer, into outer darkness. Are you ready for this, bro?
I'm ready, fam. I'm ready. I was born ready.
You was born ready. I like to hear that. All right, before we get started, man, I just want to give you a couple of warnings and make a couple of disclaimers. This interrogation room will be 3 rounds. The first round, we're going to be dealing with absolutes. The second round, we're going to be dealing with morality. And in the third round, we're going to be dealing with logic and reasoning.
Okay.
And neither round can you plead the fifth. You can't say.
Okay.
This interrogation room, as you may know, was created for non-believers who have an alternative to Christianity to see if that alternative can stand on its own or if it will fall under its own pressure.
Okay.
So, some of these questions will be simply yes or no answers. I agree or I do not agree. And in other instances, you will have time to go into detail to, give your point of view, because we don't want to misrepresent you on that.
Gotcha.
All right. This first main topic, we're going to deal with absolutes. Okay. For all people at all time, under any circumstance, do you believe in absolute truth and absolute falsehoods?
You know what? Elaborate a little more on what exactly you mean by absolute truths and absolute falsehoods. Because are you saying that by that, do you mean we should tell the truth all the time, no matter what?
Yeah, something that will be true no matter what for all people at all times under all circumstances.
So are there things that are just true no matter what?
Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, no matter what.
Some things that are just false no matter what.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. Could you give me one example of something that will be absolutely true for all people at all times under all circumstances?
So one thing that's true for all people, no matter what. We are on Earth.
On Earth, okay. Would you also say that 2 + 2 = 4 under all circumstances for all people at all times?
Does 2 + 2 = 4? Well, some people might not know how to count. So
I mean, it doesn't matter if they know how to count.
No, but I got you. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with you too, that we are on Earth and that 2 + 2 = 4 for all people at all times under all circumstances. So you do agree that there are absolute truths and absolute falsehoods, correct?
Yeah, some things are true, some things are false.
Okay. Do you believe that it is absolutely true that creation equals a creator? Where, for example, if something is created, then it had to have a creator, pretty much.
Do I believe that that's true?
Yeah, absolutely true.
Absolutely. In what terms are we talking? It would depend on what we're talking about.
If there's something that's if there's something created, something that we know that's created, that it had to have a creator. Like, I don't care if it's a car, computer. A computer had to have somebody to make it. A car, a house, whatever. If there is creation, then there has to be a creator. Would you say that's true?
No doubt.
Okay, right. I would agree. Would you also say that intelligence begot intelligence?
Sure.
Okay. The universe, we know, follows laws. For example, we know that the laws that the sun and the and oxygen and all that, it follows these certain laws so that the universe can operate in the way that it operates. Would you say that
are those laws, or is that just what makes up the universe? In other words, what I'm saying is, like, I'm made of certain components. Are those laws, or is that just what makes what I'm made up of and what you made up of?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. We don't have to call them laws. We can call it whatever other name you want to call it, because that really wasn't the main focal point. But I was
Gotcha. Okay.
I was using that just to say, in the way that the universe is tuned, you know, for everything, the way it works, you know, how the sun give off light for the plants to grow, for the plants to give oxygen to us, and things like that. Would you say that the universe within itself is intelligent?
Is the universe intelligent?
Right.
I can't plead the fifth, but to be honest, I would have to know everything there is to know about the universe, and I don't.
Okay, well, just based off what you do know, for example, as I just gave, how the sun gives off what it gives off, for the plants to do what it do, for the plants to feed us, would you say that would be in intelligence, so fact as the way that it operates?
I don't know if it's so much intelligence, coincidence, happenstance. I couldn't tell you because I don't know enough about it.
Okay.
If I had more knowledge about how everything sort of manifests, then I could answer that more accurately. From a particular standpoint, I could say everything is intricate and everything is very intelligently placed and operates in an intelligent format. But for me to say that I definitely 100% know, I couldn't.
I mean, not just know. Would you agree? That's what I'm asking. I mean, you pretty much just said, yeah. Everything you just named.
The only reason I hesitate is because I'm not 100% certain how it operates. But from a visual standpoint and from everything that I can perceive in my finite knowledge, I would say yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I would also say yes too. And you would also call that pretty much order then. If it's not, you know, it pretty much be order then, right? Everything is in order.
I think it's a little chaos thrown in there for sure.
I mean, of course, we know that disasters and things like that happen.
Right.
Okay. So you hold to the position of an agnostic, correct?
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much, you're not saying there isn't a God. You're pretty much saying you lack a belief in a God because you can see evidence from both sides. Would that be correct?
I would say, to put it more accurately, I haven't seen enough evidence from anyone to prove the existence of a God, nor have I seen enough evidence to outright deny the existence of a God.
Okay. So you did agree to absolute truths and falsehoods. You agreed that creation, if there is something created, that it had to have a creator. You agreed that if something is intelligent and was created, it had to have intelligence behind it. And you gave a yes also to, based off what you can see visually and your understanding of the universe, that the universe would be intelligent from your perspective. Am I representing you right on that?
To a degree. Like I said, my knowledge is finite. So again, for me to give if I'm put into a corner and I have to give an answer, which in this situation I do, then I would have to say yes. But if I'm being 100% honest, I have no idea.
Okay. You can say I don't know, especially as an honest reply. All right. For the sake of time, okay. Pretty much to all four of the questions you gave a yes. Based off. I'm asking you. Pretty much to all four of the questions you gave a yes. Pretty much. Just on your understanding, right?
And in so much as I can understand. I posit that. Okay.
Right. I mean, because don't forget, this is from your worldview. We're not speaking for nobody else but you. So yeah, we're not, trying to pretty much make it like you're speaking for everybody else. You get what I'm saying? This is your ideology. All right. We're gonna go to number 2, which is morality.
Okay.
Now, when dealing with morality, do you believe that there are things that are absolutely wrong and absolutely right?
No.
Okay. Can you explain that?
For me, morality is fluid, or I'll say this: I'm morally ambiguous, and here's why I say that. I'll give one of some of people's favorite examples. So if you were in Hitler's Germany, and the Nazis came and knocked on your door, and you was hiding Jews, if it's immoral to lie, would you tell them the Jews were in there knowing that they were going to send them to their death, or would you tell them they weren't in there?
Right.
I personally would tell them they weren't in there.
Right.
So whether it was morally wrong to lie or not, I'm not going to hand an innocent person over to their death. And another example, if someone violates my child or my daughter in some way, sexually, where it's a rape occurs, pederasty occurs, my son is unjustly murdered. It's not moral to do what I would likely do.
Okay, hold on, wait. Stop right there.
In my mind, it would be moral. It would be immoral not to do it. And so that's why I say, to me, I'm a little morally ambiguous when it comes.
But you're walking the fence with it because you're saying that even though it's immoral, I'm still going to do it. Now, just because we know something is immoral, that don't mean that we won't do it. Like, for example, you said about. You're the one being interrogated. You got to get this.
You're right. My bad.
Okay, look at this. Now, I agree with you in both instances. If I had Jews in my house and the Nazis came, I wouldn't tell them that they was up there either. But does that still mean that I didn't lie? I still lied. So, our morality doesn't necessarily come from the things that we do. Our morality shows in the things that happen to us. And let me give an example of that. I may be a thief and I may steal all day and I may not care at all. But once somebody steals from me and I see, oh man, that $1 million gone, I'm gonna buy a house with that man, that dude wrong from stealing from me. So that's how I inherently know that stealing is wrong regardless if I steal or not. So which position are you holding? Are you holding, because in your statement, you were saying that you will do immoral things even though you know that they are immoral, because for you to call them immoral, you will first have to know what morality is, even just to go against it.
Well, here's the thing.
So do you still hold that position?
Well, this is why I say morally ambiguous, because to me it would be immoral personally not to respond to somebody who violated my child in kind. Now to you, what I do to that person may be immoral, but to me, it wouldn't be. And so, and I say that with all honesty, I've always been, for lack of a better word, a little different when it came to things of that nature. And so,
I mean, no, but that's all understandable. I mean, I'm a Christian man and things like that too.
So as a Christian, would it be immoral for me to respond to? But it would stick now.
Are you sure?
Sure?
Watch this. Yeah. Now watch this. It's understandable.
Does that fall into a person's?
You're the one being interrogated. I'm gonna answer that for you. You're the one being interrogated. Watch this. It's understandable why you did that. Because just like you a father,
Okay.
I'm a father too, as being a Christian. Now, if somebody raped my daughter or somebody raped your daughter and you went in there and you cut their head off, I could totally be like, man, I understand why Piankhi cut that dude's head off. I would have cut that dude's head off too. Does that still mean that it wasn't immoral? No. I understand
I
why
don't.
you did it.
See.
It was immoral.
For me, I'm not sure, because to me it would be immoral to let that go unchecked.
I mean, no,
So,
that would be one of the reasons why we understand why you did it. That would not be an instance to discredit why it was moral. And then another
so
thing.
if it's understandable, then is it immoral? Like if we as people can say, I understand. Like let's go back to like the movie A Time to Kill.
Now I don't want to go back. I want to go forward.
Okay, so let's go to the movie A Time to Kill for an example. So when the brother came out of the closet and he mowed down the men who did that heinous, detestable thing to his child.
Same thing we said.
Exactly.
And no, I understand why he did it.
And to me, that was moral and just for what happened to his daughter. Now, to somebody else, that may have been immoral. He shouldn't have did it, etc. But to me, it was perfectly understandable.
Right. Now watch it. Now, no, right. That's right. It was perfectly understandable. Okay. Now back to the question, the sub question at hand. Okay. I was gonna ask you, is it? But I'm gonna have to say it like this: it's a contradiction for you to say that when it comes to absolutes in the first main topic, that you agree that there are things that are absolutely true and false, but then get to morality when dealing with wrong and rights, that it can be absolute wrong or rights based off of a person's perception.
Okay.
Would you agree that that's a contradiction?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I'll say you're making this a little easy. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, good. Okay. Does evil exist?
Absolutely.
Why does it exist?
Why does it exist?
If not for the theists, I'm pretty sure you hear arguments that theists give for the argument of God using morality and evil and things like that. Since you don't agree with theists as being agnostic, why would you say evil exists if that worldview is null and void?
I think that there is a certain thing in certain people that I'm not gonna say makes them do, but it whether you want to say makes, compels, pulls, whatever the case may be, certain people have compulsions that to where they do evil and heinous things to other people. I think it's a part of human nature. And
okay, but where does it come from?
I couldn't tell you where it came from. I think it's just a part. It's a part of some people. Where it came from, I couldn't tell you. I'm not in their DNA. I'm just happy not to be one of those people who give in.
You think it come from DNA?
That lower base instinct, whatever that is. Some people just
you think
have.
It come from DNA?
I think some people have. What is it called? Psychologically, they don't have empathy for other people, and thus they don't see them as people, and so they are expendable to them in a way that they not to other people. And so people who value other human life don't conduct themselves the way these people do.
I mean, you're explaining the effects of evil and what people do who commit evil. I'm trying to see, since it exists under the notion of morality, why would it exist if the Christian or any theist worldview would not apply to that? What would be a better explanation for that?
What would be a better explanation?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, to me, it's a psychological issue. Some people have empathy for human life, and some people don't. I don't know why it got to be a theological issue.
So would you be taking, let's say, the evolutionary side, which would say that since we come from, you know, certain kind of atoms and bacteria and all that, that those things would be the reason why certain people have the traits they have?
Say that one more time.
You know, like the evolutionist argument, since they don't believe that there is an intelligent designer and that everything happened by chance, since we come from these molecules, you know, molecules and atoms is what created everything, would you attest the behavior of evil to that rather than us having a sense of evil, because there's a sense of good in which we all would have to give an account for?
Well, for me, I've studied evolution to a degree, but nothing in depth to where I'm confident talking about it. So I won't even get into evolution. The only thing I would tell you is from a psychological standpoint, as I said, some people have empathy for other human life, some people don't. Those people tend to be your psychopaths, your sociopaths, your serial killers, etc. And they don't value other human life. They see it as games, pieces on the chessboard, trophies, etc. And as a result, they do things that other people wouldn't do. You have people who have addictive urges. You have men who are compelled and addicted to raping women. You have men and women who are addicted and have urges to commit pedophilia on children.
Would those things
Where
be
these things come from outside of a psychological problem, I couldn't tell you. From a theological standpoint, if we're talking about just if it's a supernatural evil that's compelling people, of course, I don't posit that, because you would have to show me some kind of proof that that's an actual real world thing that we can apply to these situations. But from what I know about psychology, these things actually apply. And so that's my answer for it. You just have some people who lack empathy for other human life, and as a result, we have evil acts that are perpetrated on other people.
I got you. Okay, so since you do believe there is evil in the world, now you said that you don't know where it come from, but that's
I did say where it came from.
I mean,
it's a psychological defect, a lack of empathy for human life.
Okay, so evil does exist, and you did explain where it come from. So what they would be doing, would that be considered absolutely wrong?
In my opinion.
So where do you get your standard of morality from to call what they're doing wrong?
My standard of morality is simply to do no harm to another human being.
I said, where do you get it from?
I don't get it from I don't get it from anybody. To harm another person is wrong. Now, if we talk about ancient theories of morality.
Not theory. Hold on. No. I want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm just trying to get.
Because when you say where did I get it from? I mean, I could start with my first teacher, which was my grandmother, and she taught me basic human decency was to not harm another human being, to not take things that don't belong to me. Right. Now, where did she get it from? She got it from her mother, her father, etc.
But if you believe that there are no absolute wrong or rights, then how could what you call doing or how you feel about another situation wrong or right? If being wrong or right is subjective, then how could you trust that what you're doing is right or wrong to call what somebody else doing right or wrong?
Well, when it comes to I'm really talking from my perspective. Right. To the person who committing. But see, here's the thing. So now, when we talk about a man who rapes a woman, commits pedophilia on a child, commits murder, takes another person's life, right? Those things cannot be justified by any measure.
So they're absolutely wrong, right?
Absolutely. And wait, but a second ago, but hold on, because if we're talking about, so my point being, if it's absolutely, I'm not saying that it's absolutely wrong. I'm saying it's absolutely evil, because in their mind, it might not be wrong. I mean, it don't matter. So I'm not. And so here's my point. Real quick. Here's my point. Right and wrong is in the perspective of the person perpetrating the right or the wrong. Good and evil are absolute. And so whether something is right or wrong is in the perspective of the person who is committing the deed. But whether or not it's absolutely good or evil is concrete, if that makes sense.
It kind of don't, because you can take right and wrong and just replace them with good and bad. I mean, it's still the same concept. So if you believe in absolute evil, can you allow me to elaborate real quick? Go ahead.
Okay, so now
I understand what you're saying, though.
So right and wrong are not interchangeable with good and evil, and here's why. Good and evil are concrete. It is what it is. You have good and you have evil. Period. They are what they are. Right and wrong is up to the perspective of the person committing the said right or wrong act. In other words, if a man thinks it's okay to rape women, that's in his perspective. Me and you don't agree with that. But in his mind, if he has really convinced himself that it's okay, and we can't convince him otherwise, it's okay for him to do that. And so it's right. If he's convinced himself that it's right and it's okay to do, and it's nothing we can do to convince him otherwise, that's his perspective. We know that rape is evil. We know that it's going to have physical damage, psychological damage, long-lasting damage to that woman. And it is an evil act to take something from her against her will. But if in his perspective, it's right, it ain't nothing we can do about it. So it's up to the person's perspective whether it's right or wrong. But it's evil no matter what.
You're taking the words. I get what you're saying, but you're taking the words and you're flipping them to make a point to what you meant. Wrong, evil falls under the category of wrong.
No, not all the time. No, not all the time.
Plaintiff. It don't matter if it's all the time. It's period, because you just said that you don't agree, and we can take out wrong or right if you want to, because to me the words are interchangeably. I could say the same thing for I could have just used absolute good or absolute evil.
If we stick with good and evil. That's one thing. If we're going to bring right and wrong into it, we're talking about something else.
Okay, and the reason why I could use either or, because like I said, if we can go look up both definitions. If you look up evil, it's going to say wrong, it's going to say bad. If you go look up good, it's going to say right.
I get from a dictionary standpoint, they are synonyms of each other. I understand that. They are synonyms of each other. But I'm talking about from a philosophical standpoint. You have a person's perspective.
No, listen. I didn't ask about perspective. When I asked about absolutes, as we got in the first round, I was pretty much setting the base for something being.
I know you tried to walk me down that rabbit hole, but I'm still stick to my guns on.
I mean, it's not even a rabbit hole. It's not even a rabbit hole. It's for you to see that you have to bend.
No, you don't. You don't have to.
You have to bend. You have to bend in order to make some of the things that you see fit.
Not really. Not really.
Into the world view.
You don't. Not really.
Hold on,
but you know what? I'm being interrogated. Let me shut up. Let me shut up.
Wait till I get my setup the way I want it. I'm gonna be able. I'm gonna be able to cynet you and put you on mute. But anyway, okay. The reason why I brought it up in that aspect is because you were saying a lot of things that I agree with. It was just that you got a little tricky with the words once you saw where it was leading to. Because
I got tricky with the word.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I'm saying that is because the main concept was of morality, and if there was something absolutely wrong or right, or let's just say good or bad. In your explanation, you agreed that there are things that are absolutely evil, let's just say bad, evil, but even if we can't convince this person not to do it and they do it anyway, it's evil. He just don't see it as wrong. That's pretty much what you said. So you are agreeing that evil does exist and it's called evil. I mean, not called evil, and it's evil to everyone, even if a person decides to commit that act. Just like good does exist, and it's a standard of good, even if a person decides to go against that act. Okay. I want to ask, since that is a standard, and we'll use your words instead of mine, we'll use good and evil. Since good and evil does have a standard, and since that standard is outside of an individual, where does that standard come from?
That standard comes from us. We know, I think it was established long before you or I even existed.
Of course.
What was good and what was evil.
But where do it come from?
Again, it was established, it comes from us, human beings, establishing what was good and what was evil. It's evil to kill another human being. It's evil to take what doesn't belong to you from another human being. I think that was established long before you and I existed. Whether you look at the 42 negative confessions, the laws of Hammurabi, the 10 commandments.
Are you saying those things were not good or evil before humans came?
I'm saying they couldn't have been because there was no one to demonstrate it.
Okay, so are you saying that until that was demonstrated, they didn't know that was good or evil until those acts were committed?
Who would know? Who would know if there was no one to demonstrate it?
Let's say you and I and whoever else were the first humans on Earth. Will we have to wait until somebody stole from us to know it was wrong, or wait until somebody died to know it was wrong, or will we have already
wait till somebody
inherently known that?
Say that one more time.
Would we have to, if you and I and other people were the first humans on Earth, would we have to wait until someone killed someone to determine that it was wrong or right, or wait until someone steal from someone to determine if it was wrong or right?
Everything is a learning process. Look at your child. So, prime example, my friend who I work with, his daughter will be 4 months in a few days. She's trying to suck her thumb. And so he telling this story about how she keep guiding her hand to her mouth and how he keep knocking her hand away. And she throws after she realized she's not gonna get that thumb in her mouth, she throw a fit. And so he went and got these mittens that it got like a little grip thing on there that she can put in her mouth and kind of bite down on. Well, the baby hate the mittens, right? So the baby has decided she's right-handed, but now she started trying to suck the left hand because the left hand doesn't have a mitten on it, okay? Because she has learned that her right hand that she has more control over is unavailable. So she's now trying to start sucking the left thumb, but she doesn't have as much control over it. So when she tries to get it to her mouth, it's going everywhere but to where she want to get it. So she's throwing the fit even more so. So what's my point in telling that story? Human beings, during the course of their existence, have learned what is right and what is wrong. So as human beings existing and they see another human being kill another human being, well, damn, that ain't right. He just killed him.
So you said that they learned what was right and wrong, right?
Absolutely. How else would they know?
So in order for them to have to learn it, that means it would have already had to exist.
How would it already exist if they learned it?
Because you can't learn something if it isn't already in existence. For example, let's take math. 2 + 2 always equaled 4, even before we knew the method of counting. We didn't have to wait until we learned how to count for 2 + 2. 2 equals 4.
Well, we talking about math though.
I know,
when we talking about what we establish as what's right and what's wrong, because they could have, let's say they decided that killing another person for no reason was okay. Then that's what we'd be doing today.
Not at all.
Okay, so now, and I'm not interrogating you, you interrogate me.
No, yeah,
what can you say to back up what if early human beings didn't establish what we do today? What can you say? What can you show me that would establish that we didn't pick up what we know from them? In other words, if they learn that 2 + 2 is 4, or that killing an innocent person is wrong, how can you demonstrate to me that we didn't get that from them?
How can I demonstrate to you?
Show me.
When it comes to morality?
When it comes to anything.
Oh no,
that we learn from what's been passed down to us from other human beings.
Oh no, I don't disagree with like just say we didn't know how to make calls at first or all the other stuff. Dealing with morality, I don't feel like that was passed down to.
You don't feel like it, or you don't know?
Oh, okay, yeah, I know it was okay. I changed that. I know it wasn't passed down because
how do you know?
Because there are things that I know that are wrong that I've never been through.
But you know based on other examples, though, right? You know based on other examples.
I mean, just period. Because you said that based off of what a parent teach you.
Right. So you've had other examples. You've been taught by someone who came before you why something is wrong.
No, because a person can teach me that this is wrong, and I can still be like, well, that this is right or this is wrong, and I can be like, no, that's wrong.
So let me ask you this. If your parent taught you that killing another person to take what they have was right, and they taught you that your whole life, and that was a behavior that you demonstrated,
right.
And then eventually, let's say you meet your wife and she like, no, that's not right. It would take you meeting your wife to establish that that's not right. And then moving forward, you may decide that that's wrong.
No, because in me taking someone's life.
How would you know if you brought up from an infant, if you taught, hey, you kill and you take whatever they got, and from that point it belonged to you. If you taught that from your parents, from an infant, how would you know it was wrong if that's what they taught you from the beginning of your existence?
Because if I'm a person of reasonable, sound mind and body, like you're saying, I would ultimately get to a point to where I know that the loss of life is wrong, because I wouldn't want my life taken. I wouldn't have to wait until somebody tell me that, hey, if somebody took your life, you wouldn't want that to happen to you. I would inherently, by some way, shape, or form, get a sense of knowing that, hey, I'm taking somebody's son. I'm somebody's son. I'm taking somebody's daddy. I got a daddy. I'm taking somebody, or whatever the matter may be. I wouldn't have to wait until somebody tells me that.
And what proof do you have that if your parents, who you know brought you in this world, taught you otherwise, that you would believe that? If they put that in you, from the beginning of your life up to whatever point.
There are people who have been through that. There are people who have been raised to hate black people, and they come out of it. There are people who've been raised in Christianity, they come out of it. There are people who've been raised in all kind of things.
They got to a point though. They got to a point where they knew it was wrong. But at first, they thought it was right, correct?
Yeah, I agree. No, I can agree with you on that. Yeah,
exactly. So that's my point. I'm not saying you can't come out of it, but I'm saying in the beginning and up to a certain age, you think it's right because your parents taught you that.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't just plainly throw out the fact that you know things that are not right that your parents teach you to until you get to a certain age. You inherently know certain things. Like, for example, as a child, you learn certain things without your parents. You know, you learn how to walk without your parents' help. Now, they may give you that boost, you know, hey, baby, get a walk, or time to this, time to do that. But you learn your feet, you learn your legs, you learn your body parts on your own in order for you to, you know, do certain things. Or I'm just using that as an example. So there are all kind of things that we learn on our own that we don't need anybody to teach us, including things when it comes to morality. So back to the script on that, you were saying, as in good and evil, well, just take morality overall, you do agree that there is a standard of morality that should be held regardless of who an individual is. There is something that's wrong, something that's right. That's pretty much what I'm saying. All right. Do you still hold to the view? Do you still hold to the view that good and bad and right and wrong are still not the same?
I don't think they're synonymous, no.
Okay. We'll go to the third round just so we can kind of close it out. Now, this round is going to be on logic and reasoning. Let's see what I wrote down right.
All right.
You agree with the laws of logic, right? You know, like non-contradiction, all this stuff. And
you know, one of my favorite rappers of all time, and you being a rapper, you know, I'm sure you was a fan of my dude, the late great Tupac Shakur.
Right.
He was always described as a walking contradiction. Now, at the time, I was young and I didn't really know what that meant. But then when I would hear, as I got older, and I would hear, I get around, and then I would hear, keep your head up, and you know, I would hear, wonder why they call you B, and Brenda's got a baby. Then I started to understand what people were saying, right? And so I think that we are all contradictory by nature, because no human being is the same at any given time. There is no consistency in the human experience. We all wake up in a different mind state, in a different place, in a different.
Contradictory wasn't the mind fault. The law of non-contradiction is
my point. My point is, when you say contradictory, that can be explained.
No.
But go ahead, because I'm under interrogation. My bad.
No, contradictory, the law of non-contradictory, that's just one of the laws that fall under the laws of logic. You know, like, for example, the laws of logic, we know if somebody is lying to us because of the law of non-contradicting. Like, for example, you can't tell me red is red. You can't tell me red is blue because I know what red is. That's how we, that's how we know somebody lying to us. So, do you agree? So you agree with the laws of logic, right?
No doubt.
Okay. Would you agree that the laws of logic are immaterial?
Would I agree that they are immaterial?
Yeah, well, like we can see their effects, but we can't see them. We can't touch them. I can't give you a cup full of logic and paint it red.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with
Okay.
that.
Is it reasonable to, after everything that we just talked about when it comes to absolutes, morality, the laws of logic, which are immaterial, is it reasonable to believe that there is a creator? Not necessarily the God of the Bible, just a creator. And since you are a agnostic and you're looking for evidence to prove that there is a God, period, not simply just the God of the Bible.
How did I know this question was coming? How did I know?
Because based off of everything that you said yes to, that you got locked into.
How did I know you was walking me down to this question? Go ahead, bro.
Oh, yeah, right. Because you have proven, not only to me, but once you go back and watch this video, you have proven to yourself that there is a creator based off of the answers that you've given to these questions.
See, here's the thing. I don't deny that there is a divine creator.
But you said you lacked evidence, and you just gave yourself a ton of evidence.
Here's what I lack evidence of. I lack evidence. Let me be more specific. I lack evidence that the God of the Bible,
right? I agree with that.
That's why the Quran and the God of the Torah is that divine creator.
All right, and that will look for a future interrogation room, and I'm gonna ask you questions on that topic, seeing the answers that you gave to this topic. Because like I said, this really wasn't an argument for the biblical God. This was pretty much an argument for the God in general.
Yeah, I feel you. This is your preemptive strike, and I got you. But no, I don't deny that there is a divine creator. I don't confirm it because I don't have significant proof on either way.
Right.
Now, what I do posit is that I don't have significant evidence to show me that the God of the Bible,
all right,
Torah and Quran exists, period. Never mind is a creator of all.
Right. Right. I understand that. Right. And that's why I didn't go to no scriptures or pull anything up from that aspect that I was saying, because I wasn't making that argument yet. But you know, I'm a Christian, and I go hard for Jesus, and I'm always trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. So
trust and believe the gospel.
So in the future, these line of questioning are gonna be pertaining to the biblical God, and we're gonna get into that.
I can't wait.
And don't forget, because we got it on wax now, we got the receipts. Don't forget about the it's up to the person's perception of what was wrong and what was right and any of that, because when those questions come towards the Bible and what God did, we're going to have to hold the ground on that.
That's relevant.
So anyway, so back to the interrogation room.
That's relevant.
This question that I want, this last question, I'm going to re-ask you again. Based off of reason and logic, based off the answers that you gave, which I think you did answer this question, I just want to ask it again. Is it reasonable to believe that there is a creator?
Is it reasonable?
Reasonable, yeah. That's how we just need a reason to believe. Is it reasonable?
It's reasonable for some people, and some people it's not reasonable. It just depends on the person's, guess what? Perspective.
Right, but all I needed was that it's reasonable, because of course it's reasonable to believe 2 + 2 is 4, but then, like you said at first, based off a person's perspective, I don't mean they have to accept that answer. So I'm never against the people who want to go against the grain. All I'm trying to establish is that there is a grain, first of all. You see what I'm saying?
And I feel you.
But yeah, man, I think you did a good job in this interrogation room. I think for the listening audience, for those who locked into Christianity, they will continue to have a strong lock into Christianity. For those who are questioning Christianity, to walk away to other things, they may watch this video and be like, hold up, man, let me get a little deeper into this Christianity. And this is the show where we are going to take non-believers and see if their worldview can hold up to the theist worldview, let alone the biblical worldview, or if it would fall under the weight of their own ideology, theologies, and perceptions that they have on their own. So, bro, did you want to give your closing to my audience and let them know where they can find you at and give shout outs and whatever else you want to say, man? It's on you.
No doubt. Listen, I just want to say this is your brother Piankhi Ptah Mutulu, Nefer Amun Ra. You can find me at Paradigm Shift TV 314. And we putting out videos all the time just talking about religion, the effects thereof. This is my brother, Trust and Believe the Gospel, or nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel. You'll see videos with me and him. You'll see videos from my brother, Nuri Shabaka, Ursamad Ra. You'll see the Conscious Christian Jerome Green, the brother Metu Hotep Jallo, the brother Nasut, the King. I mean, so what we doing is we examining topics of spirituality, how they apply to everyday life for not only Black people, but all people, but specifically Black people, and how we can apply those topics to everyday life. But you can find me there. You can find me on Facebook at Piankhi Ptah Mutulu. You can find me on Instagram at Piankhi Ptah Mutulu. Follow me, send me a friend request, whatever the case may be. Piankhi Ptah Mutulu at gmail.com. Email me. Let's link up. If you got any questions about Kemetic spirituality, African spirituality, if you want to come on and talk about Christianity, if you want to talk about anything pertaining to any African spiritual tradition, hit me up. I'll come let you on the channel to speak your speech, as I love to say. And, you know, I got a spot for you. I want to thank my brother for putting me in the interrogation room. You know, he tried to put me through the ringer, walking me down, you know, trying to put me in this corner, so to speak. And, you know, he did a great job. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and share space with him. Definitely subscribe to his channel, subscribe to my channel. Again, Paradigm Shift TV 314. We're trying to bring as much knowledge to the people as we can. I am a student of Kemetic spirituality, but I'm open to every spiritual tradition that Black people follow. So if you want to come on and talk about it, hit me up. And that's that. Hotep, and I'm going to turn it back over to my brother.
Everybody, if you know anybody out there who is a non-believer, who has an alternative worldview to Christianity, and you feel as if they need to be brought cast into outer darkness over here on Trust and Believe the Gospel, so that we are not actually physically trying to condemn anybody to hell. We hold these type of shows in hopes that we may actually bring people back to Christ to keep them from actually being cast into outer darkness. We love everybody out there. I am nobody. I always trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody, and that is Jesus the Christ. Look for more content like this and others in the future. And we'll see y'all next time in the next video. Y'all be good.
Peace.